Today we'll be looking at the body in motion, a visual arts lay curriculum. The unit of study is entitled The Body in Motion and is designed for students in Year 8. The students will be looking at the various ways the body can be represented to suggest movement in 2D, 3D, and 4D artworks. This will broaden and develop this understanding of the multiplicity of how art can be expressed. They'll be looking at the basics in bodily proportions, Da Vinci's studies on the body, then moving on to movement of the body captured in sculpture, painting, photography, and performance.
Before going into the explanation of this particular layered curriculum, it's best to understand what this type of assessment entails. A layered curriculum provides scope for diversity in students' range of abilities while simultaneously catering for the diversity in their modes of learning and assessment. The layered curriculum manifests from Bloom's taxonomy and Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. It allows students the opportunity to self-direct and choose assessment tasks to complete and succeed in the unit. The unit of work caters to 3 layers of thinking, each targeting different activities that correspond to different intelligences and different cognitive levels in a diverse classroom. It's important to understand what Bloom's taxonomy and Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences offer when designing a layered curriculum.
Bloom's taxonomy refers to a continuum of cognitive complexity. It offers a method to frame questions to target different levels in thinking. It assists teachers in understanding how to encourage students to develop from lower order thinking, with developing knowledge and comprehension of subject matter, to an intermediate level of thinking, with an application and analysis of the knowledge gained from the lower order thinking, to then higher order thinking, whereby students are able to synthesize and evaluate their understanding from lower and intermediate levels to come to a sophisticated awareness of the unit.
Now looking at Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. This theory looks at the categorization of intelligences that are specialized for acquiring knowledge and solving problems in different areas of cognitive activities. These intelligences include kinesthetic, where students learn best when using their body. Students have highly developed awareness of their body and handle objects skillfully. They work best through hands-on learning and creating things. Interpersonal intelligence, where students understand and work best with others. They learn through interaction and have a capability to understand others' emotions, intentions, and motivations. These students thrive in group work activities, small conversations, and/or whole class discussions. Linguistic intelligence, where students have highly developed spoken and written language skills and think in regards to words. These students work best when reading and writing, creating word games, or using glossaries where they can use their language skills to achieve the desired outcomes. Logical and mathematical intelligence, where students process information logically and have strengths in maths and science. These students are able to identify patterns and relationships and like to experiment. They work best in situations that allow them to learn from concepts and solve problems. Naturalistic, where students have a hands-on approach to learning and are very aware of their surroundings. These students work best when they are outdoors and can make connections with nature and animals. Intrapersonal intelligence, where students understand and work best individually and have a deep understanding for their own personal feelings, motivations, and goals. These students work best when they are able to engage in independent study and introspective activities such as self-reflection or using a diary. Visual spatial intelligence, where students think in terms of physical space and are good at remembering images, faces, and fine details. These students learn best during creative activities such as drawing and photography, where they are able to utilize their visual and spatial awareness. And musical intelligence, where students respond best to sound and rhythm. These students love music and can often learn best when they're able to listen to music when studying or create songs or rhythms to remember information.
Having a layered curriculum allows the teacher to differentiate assessments for a diverse classroom. For instance, a teacher may have students from different cognitive levels and also have students with ADHD, autism, specific learning disabilities such as dyslexia, who are from non-English speaking backgrounds, or students who identify as coming from Indigenous backgrounds. For instance, A teacher catering to students with ADHD may target kinesthetic knowledge, such as participating in performance artwork, to allow them to succeed in these aspects of assessment. Being aware of different cognitive levels and having a regard of how students learn best will encourage them to achieve.
In the Body in Motion unit, objectives and outcomes will be provided to help set up parameters for students to succeed. In the unit, the objectives are for students to demonstrate their understanding of the body in motion through art making in their choice of form as scaffolded in the theory component of the unit. These forms can be 2D, 3D or 4D. Students must identify and explain their choices. Students must also attain 100 points in the layered curriculum to succeed in the unit, and they must attempt activities from each layer. Stage 4 visual arts syllabus outcomes will also be used to guide art making and art historical critical practices when students reflect back on their work. This will also help form foundations and will act as a reference to what is needed to succeed in the unit.
When looking at how a layered curriculum will be used as a form of assessment, one may create a differentiated learning outline. This outline will include all the activities a student may want to choose to add up to 100 points. This particular outline demonstrates a synthesis of Bloom's taxonomy and Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, thus catering to diversity in the classroom. Layer C is designed to target lower order thinking with knowledge and comprehension on unit content. Some examples of tasks in the outline include glossary activities, which target students with learning difficulties or barriers, such as having English as a second language, and forming basic cultural links through dialogue to encourage talk and acknowledgement of students with different cultural backgrounds, such as those with Indigenous heritage.
Layer B is designed for students to move from rote learning gained in Layer C to applying and analysing their knowledge. Here students will be able to gain more creative means. For instance, there will be the opportunity to create videos for a small performance artwork. This will work well for students with ADHD as it targets kinesthetic intelligences. It may also help students with learning disabilities such as dyslexia, whereby students will not be required to explicitly read to achieve. Layer A caters to higher order thinking, where students evaluate and synthesise their knowledge. Students attempting this layer will be asked to critique their art making practices and justify what they have done. Having choice throughout the layers caters for self-direction and gives students a sense of ownership.
As part of the lead curriculum, students will be given a contract stating their course outcomes from the Stage 4 visual arts syllabus, the skills and knowledge they will gain, instructions on how to achieve in the 2-week-long assessment, such as having to achieve 100 points to complete the unit and having to do at least one activity from each level, a table where students record their activities with teacher acknowledgement, and a signature from the student to acknowledge that they have understood what is needed to complete the unit. Having a student contract will help track what has been done. One may question how to structure support documents for a lead curriculum. An exemplar from each layer will be examined.
In this particular task, students will be required to label specific parts of the body. Students are then encouraged to refer to previous classwork or research to determine what the best answer for each blank space. Thus, this targets comprehension, low-order thinking, and aligns with outcomes 4.1 and 4.4 from the Visual Arts Stage 4 syllabus.
For this Layer B assessment, students are to take on the role of museum curator and create a hypothetical exhibition titled The Body. The worksheet works as a template for the application of knowledge and analysis of artworks students have chosen. A few questions have been provided to subtly direct students, but are open-ended to allow for self-exploration.
This top layer worksheet exemplar demonstrates how a teacher may encourage evaluative thinking from their students by providing a range of questions to trigger thinking. Students do not necessarily have to answer each question, however they have been provided to scaffold higher order thinking.
To succeed in this assessment, grades are awarded to the completion of each layer, alongside with the quality of work. Students must attempt each layer and attain 100 points to satisfactorily complete this unit.
This brings us to the end of the layered curriculum used for assessment in the Body of Motion unit for Year 8 students. This unit allows for self-direction and caters to a diverse classroom environment. Good luck and enjoy learning about the body in motion.